When Joe LoTemplio started working at the Plattsburgh Press-Republican 4 decades ago, there were 37 reporters on staff. Today, there are 6. Even as the paper hemorrhaged employees, like most other papers around the country, LoTemplio kept the Press-Republican focused on its mission: accurate, timely, fact-based news for the Plattsburgh region. A conversation with the journalist on his retirement. That's today's story of the day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from Pearsall Wealth Management at UBS Wealth Management USA, subsidiary UBS AG, member FINRA SIPC, 1 Broad Street, Glens Falls.
Hey, I'm David Sommerstein. It's Thursday, May 15th. First up, as Republicans in Congress move forward with President Donald Trump's tax and budget bill, some New York GOP lawmakers are holding out over the tax reductions known as SALT. Jimmy Vielkind reports for the New York Public News Network.
Republican Congressmember Mike Lawler says he's not ready to support a tax overhaul because it doesn't do enough to restore a popular write-off. The federal deduction for state and local taxes, or SALT, is currently capped at $10,000. Lawler says that's not enough for downstate residents, including people in his Hudson Valley district who pay high property taxes.
It's an issue of double taxation and fairness.
House GOP leaders are advancing a proposal that would triple the cap to $30,000. They're hoping to win over holdouts like Lawler and have a final vote later this month. In Albany, I'm Jimmy Vielkind for the New York Public News Network.
One of the largest privately owned tracts of land in the Adirondacks is now officially on the market. The Adirondack Daily Enterprise reports Whitney Park has been listed for $125 million. The property encompasses more than 36,000 acres. It also includes 2 great camps, 22 ponds, and more than 100 miles of shoreline. Late owner Mary Lou Whitney left Whitney Park to her husband, John Hendrickson. He died of a heart attack last year. Per Hendrickson's will, the town of Long Lake will be the sole beneficiary of the sale. A community arts center in Saranac Lake is shutting down after more than 20 years in operation. Blue Seed Studios posted on its website that the issue was finances. The organization said being in a rural, low-population area has been extremely challenging. The plan is to dissolve the organization. Its building on Cedar Street in the village of Saranac Lake will be listed for sale this week. The editor-in-chief of Plattsburgh's daily newspaper retired last week after 4 decades in local journalism. Joe LoTemplio has been a reporter there since 1985 and running the paper since 2018. LoTemplio sat down with Champlain Valley reporter Kara Chapman, who used to work at the paper, to talk about his career and what he thinks about the state of local journalism.
What's better, being a reporter or being editor?
I'll always love being a reporter. That was the best job. You got to do so many different things on your own schedule, go here, go there, a lot less responsibilities. I loved it. I would still be doing it if I could. But being editor was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So it's been fine. Journalism's journalism. There's many different parts of it. And that's one of the reasons why I think I was able to step in and do the editor's job, because I'd been around it so long. I knew everything about it. So it's all, a lot of it's the same, but yeah, I really love being a reporter.
Definitely. What do you think are the most important stories that you worked on?
There's been many over the years. Ice storm, refugees, escape from Dannemora, lots of things. But I think by far the one that stands out, the most important one, was the one that affected everybody here, everybody in the country, everybody in the world, and that's the COVID-19 pandemic, of course. I had only been an editor like 9 months when that happened, and quickly I realized this is a big deal. We need to do all COVID all the time, basically, if you will. And we couldn't get enough information out to the public, I felt. It was very unusual, very big deal. So I think clearly that was the biggest story.
Those are kind of the important stories. What are some fun favorite stories for you that stick out?
And we had a lot of those, which is great. One of the best ones I have to, and people might remember this, when we first started the Sunday paper back in '87, fall of '87, we were looking for more feature type things. So I started to be weekly feature called On the Job, which is the precursor to Dirty Jobs. Remember that show? Where I would go out and actually do a job and write what it was like to be a garbage man, to be a carpenter, to be a crossing guard or something. I did about 150 of those, and that was awesome. It was awesome. You got to see and people doing their jobs, and you got to try it, and it was great. I loved to do it. It lasted about 5 or 6 years, so that was probably the most fun one. And anytime I got a chance to cross over and cover some sports, I loved that too. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Joe, you're not the only one who's leaving the paper. Night editor Ben Rowe will also be departing. What does that mean for the future of the Press-Republican?
There'll be some changes. Losing Ben Rowe is a big deal, maybe more of a big deal than me leaving, because he does so much around here behind the scenes. A lot of people don't realize that. Ben is really the glue that holds everything together here, and he's been absolutely wonderful to work with. We're told that my position and Ben's will be filled in some capacity, and so hopefully things will move forward. Going to be an adjustment for sure, but yeah, Ben has been wonderful all these years.
Joe, how do you think about, the state of local news today, both for dailies like the Press and for other, local media outlets?
Yeah, it's really hard. There's been a lot of changes, obviously. We were just reminiscing earlier today. When I first was here back in the day, there was 140 people in this building. Now, I'm sorry to say, it's less than 20. And the newsroom, I think we had 37 at the peak. Now we have 6. So that alone tells you the changes that we've gone through. We used to cover the far reaches of Essex and Franklin counties. Now we go into Essex County a little bit, hardly much in Franklin County. So we've had to scale back. That's unfortunate because I think the community suffers when that happens. But that's just the way it is with the newspaper business and industry. I mean, it's been a struggle everywhere. Will that ever change? Will it bounce back? Who knows? Probably not, but there'll be some different form of newspapering. But it's a shame because it's very valuable to all communities.
Is there anything you want to say, to the greater Plattsburgh area, the North Country, after your 40 years at the paper?
Yeah, I'm lucky. We're all lucky. This is a great community. It really is. In order to be a good reporter, you're only as good as your sources. And I've had a lot of good sources in the community over the years. People that understand what we do and the importance of it, and they're willing to cooperate and help. There's been a lot of them. Thank you to the community. Everybody who's worked with me and helped me. I really appreciate it. Couldn't have done it without you guys. And thank you to all my fellow workers at the Press-Republican, you included, Kara Chapman. I've been lucky to work with many good people, many wonderful people that have become good friends. And like I said, I'm very lucky, and I'll remember that and cherish that forever.
That was Joe LoTemplio, the recently retired editor-in-chief of the Plattsburgh Press-Republican. He spoke with Kara Chapman. LoTemplio says he and his wife plan to stay local and enjoy time with their adult children, including an upcoming trip to Sicily, where his ancestors are from. We have more news all the time on our website, ncpr.org. Music today by Eddie Lawrence of Saranac Lake and Mark Corey of Watertown. I'm David Summerstein, North Country Public Radio.